Hello students, welcome back to Pathshala. Today we will discuss the mechanism of respiration process. So there are two different steps in a respiration process. First mechanism or the first process is glycolysis, and the second process is Krebs cycle, or it can be also known as TCA cycle. TCA cycle. So, in glycolysis process actually occurred in the cytoplasm area. It occurs in the cytoplasm area of cell, and in cytoplasm, firstly, the glucose is transformed into pyruvate acid. This process don't need oxygen. Means in cytoplasm, glucose is transformed into pyruvic acid, and this process won't require any oxygen molecule. This process, or the glycolysis process, firstly observed by the three scientists. First one is Emden, the second person is Meyerhoff, and the third scientist is Parnas. So, by their names, the glycolysis process is also known as EMP pathway. EMP pathway. The formation of glucose into pyruvic acid is not in one step, not occurs in one step, but it is a series of chemical reactions, but that is not included into your syllabus. So, we will discuss in later classes or later the full process of glycolysis. But the main process is glucose is transformed into pyruvic acid in glycolysis process. After the formation of pyruvic acid, the pyruvic acid or the pyruvate enters into the mitochondria. And in mitochondria, the Krebs cycle or TCA cycle, or rather I say the citric acid cycle, occurs. The TCA cycle means tricarboxylic acid cycle. TCA cycle means the full form of TCA is tricarboxylic acid cycle. So, the Krebs cycle and this TCA cycle, or the citric acid cycle, is known as Krebs cycle because the scientist Hans Krebs firstly discovered this process. So, by his name, it is also known as Krebs cycle. So, in Krebs cycle, in mitochondria, when the pyruvate or the pyruvic acid when enters into the mitochondria, the pyruvic acid, with the help of oxygen molecule, breaks down into carbon dioxide and water, and it releases huge amount of energy, that is 38 ATP molecule. But this occurs only in aerobic condition, in aerobic state of aerobic condition. But in case of anaerobic condition, what happens in, like in yeast, the pyruvate breaks down into alcohol, that is C2H5OH plus CO2 plus very little amount of energy, that is 2 ATP molecule. And in case of muscle cell, the pyruvic acid transformed into lactic acid, plus energy. So in yeast and muscle, it is anaerobic. It occurs in anaerobic state of respiration, and in aerobic condition, the pyruvate, with the help of oxygen, transformed into the carbon dioxide, water, and 38 molecules of ATP. But in anaerobic state, in yeast, the pyruvic acid transformed into ethyl alcohol, some amount of CO2, and 2 ATP molecule. And in muscle, it converted into lactic acid, and it exerts some little amount of, very little amount of energy. So this is the whole process of, or whole mechanism of respiration that occurs in two states. First one is glycolysis and the second one is Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle.